We're here today with bass virtuoso Dan Glenn to talk to us about his new Sire DG-V6 fretless bass guitar. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you, brother.
First of all, Dan, congratulations on your recently becoming a Sire guitarist endorsing artist, not to mention this gorgeous new bass guitar.
Thank you, man. I'm excited about it. It's just an organic thing that kind of happened. I had been playing contrabass guitar for years, 6-string and 5 strings, and had decided I really had a need to go back to fretless 4-string. And as my dear friend, the late great Phil Chen, would say, back on home base. So I had a bit of a pickle going. I just couldn't get one made immediately, and I was at the NOM show, stumbling around on the floor, early in the morning before all the noise. You could just hear yourself think. And I wandered up to the Sire pavilion and was sitting there, and this gentleman walked up and said, "Are you Dan Glenn?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And he said, "Oh," and we had a great conversation. And I thought, isn't this guy nice? He's so nice. And I told him what I was trying to do. And he said, "Well, Dan, it would be my honor to build you a fretless bass guitar of your dreams." And I went, "What?" "Oh." And he handed me his card. And it was David Yu, the CEO of the company. So now I'm in shock. And I explained to him that I already had the Marcus Miller M6 headless. That's a fretless. It's multi-scale, 34.5 to 32. And that thing just quacks like a duck. So he said, "Go to our catalog, pick out anything you want. The most expensive." One thing Sire basses and guitars are not is too expensive, because you have this excellence that goes across the board from their least expensive to their most. I'm not kidding. They really take pride in these instruments. So he said, go ahead and pick something out and let me know how we can custom build you your dream fretless bass guitar. And I did so, and I was on the train on the way home. It's a 2-day ride. I get a bedroom car. It's really quite wonderful. I had to stop driving 4 years ago because, as many people know, I have geographic atrophy. It's a tricky way of saying I'm going blind. So I just have to be careful the way I move around. And I got on the train and called Josh Lively at Sweetwater. I need an M6. I need an M6. And he's like, "What?" So that happened right away. And David told me it'd be about 3 months to build this beautiful thing. And he said, anything you want, anything. So I went for the V6 because right away it ticked the box of the essential 3 things that a bass guitar that's fretless should have. And this was told to me by my dear friend, the late great Jaco Pastorius, who we all love and miss. He said it in print many times. And the first thing that ticked the box was, Jaco would say, it's essential. And that's that the body for a fretless bass guitar be light. Something about the resonance, the bass wants to sing. And I have had much heavier bass guitars that are fretless. And it seemed to me at some point I was just listening to the pickups. Could be wrong. Other people may find that not to be the case. But for me, I was with Jaco on this one. So I went for the V6. Dear friends, this is the lightest bass guitar I have ever had. Check out the sandblasted finish on this swamp ash. It's amazing. Look at this beauty.
Can you expand on your specifications and why they are key to your fretless sound?
So maybe a month and a half, 2 months into the build, I went, oh my God, I need to get my my essentials taken care of. Number one's already done. So at that time, he must be psychic or something. David, you mailed me and said, do you want lines or no lines for your fretless? And I said, essential number 2, lined. And it's a great point of reference for me because I can't really see very well at all. But it's great to get a little point of reference. And I just prefer that. A lot of players don't like it. I like it. And the third essential thing, Jocko said it's essential. And I threw this at David late. I said, may I have an epoxied fingerboard? I totally forgot about that. And I truly thought he was going to say, a little bit late. We've already moved to this stage, to that stage. And he wrote back one word, absolutely. And I said, David, may I have it very glassy? Very glassy. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I would say that's very glassy. Would you? And it's just gorgeous. So David got a hold of me and said, we're shipping your bass to LA, to the director of Sire USA, Mickey Cho. Mickey, thank you. And he got a hold of me right away. They shipped this out. I got this bass out, and you guys, I lost my mind. It was everything I wanted. So I sat down, started to play, and the rest is just history. I'm just so happy with it. I can't even, a blabbermouth like me, struggling for content, that should tell you something. It's just wonderful. So I cannot thank you enough. As far as any other specifications, changes, I'm sorry, Marcus got it right. The preamps, Marcus Miller preamps, they're amazing. Same one in my M6. The pickups, Marcus Miller Revolution pickups, they're amazing. Yeah, I didn't need to do anything. High mass bridge. You can get into the batteries by just touching the back of that little door. It pops up, in, out. Wait, out, in? No, I had that backwards. You guys figure it out. Google it. And I just couldn't believe how gorgeous it sounded and what a joy it is to play. So here I am, and we're just going to see what happens.
You've recorded many albums over the years, generally always with full ensemble. I was told your upcoming album is going to be much more of a solo bass project. Any truth to this?
Yes. I don't know who you heard this from, but you must be reading my mail. I have a lot of albums out. And this time around, instead of using the bass as a supportive instrument with occasional solos, I'm going to use the bass as the voice, and I'm going to use the other instruments as support. So we're going to kind of flip it. And it's not going to be your typical solo bass album, but it is going to feature this instrument. And I'm also an orchestral composer, so I'm hoping I can just do some real lush things behind it and let this thing speak. So yeah, we're going to do that. And then I'm going to do another album, believe it or not, once that one is started. And we're going to do that one here at Soundworks, and that's going to be with full ensemble. And it's just going to be everyone just go nuts. You know, anyone brings a chart to one of my sessions, they're in trouble.
Dan, you have a very unique plucking technique. How did you come to arrive at that?
Well, I was injured. So this is kind of a convoluted story. I'll make it as short as possible. This finger, the tip got plinked in Vietnam. And there's no bone in it, no feeling in it. And everything was fine because what do? We pluck with these two fingers, right? So I had 2 rotator cuff explosions. What an adventure that was. And my doctors explained to me that everything's connected, and I had suffered some nerve damage. So this part of my hand, believe it or not, is crippled. I can't get any like brain messages to these fingers. They just don't work. So I had no choice except to go to the claw hammer. Okay. A lot of my, many of my gifted virtuoso friends, from Hadrian Farrar to Evan Marion, everybody, they use this, but they also employ the other fingers. And I can't do that. It just doesn't work. So this is all I had. This was the only game in town. And once I started playing, now remember guys, there's no feeling on this finger. When I closed my hand and started to play, I was getting a big old welt in my hand, and it was distracting me. And my wonderful wife, Francoise, said, "What's the matter?" And I was whining to her, "Oh, you know, that hurt." So she got me rubber fingertips. Sounds like a punk opera, doesn't it? Rubber fingertips. And now when I close my hand, it doesn't wound me, and I can concentrate. So that's how I arrived at that, because I've seen video of it, and when I'm playing, you can't really see what's going on. But I'm plucking down, plucking up, plucking down, plucking up. And from converting from this to this, my notes got bigger. Interesting, huh? And it's the only game in town, so I've been trying to develop that, and I'm going to continue to. But that's what it is. It's necessity. That's how I arrived at that. Necessity. Never give up, you guys. As Mike Stern said, keep watering the flowers. Don't ever quit. Ever.